Hey everyone, it's serotonin. I have so many videos that I want to make right now, and this one caught my eye. So I saw this headline, and it's actually something I've been wanting to talk about for a long time. Is this sort of forced gender fluidity, or pushing the opposite gender on kids, or basically proliferating and creating gender confusion for children? I personally think it's incredibly bizarre that we're forcing children to basically to pick something at this age. We're forcing them to choose their sexuality before they're even sexual. It feels very homophobic, very anti-gay, and definitely establishment oriented. If you don't fit in, then you need to change. And this is exactly what's going on here. What I find very fascinating, though, is that the parents or the media has decided to turn this into a racial thing and saying that this is discriminatory to African Americans, or Americans as they're called, to because this is in compliance with long hair. Now, I don't necessarily think that's true. I mean, there's tons of different people of that background that have all kinds of haircuts. I don't think cutting your hair has anything to do with your race. I think that's more to do with forcing someone's hand over a style that they prefer. Anyway, I'm going to go on and read this story, and I'm going to get to what I'm talking about a little bit further down the road and why I think this kind of stuff is homophobic. And at worst, it's definitely anti freedom. So, a Texas public school has denied the claim that a 4-year-old boy was in to cut his hair in compliance to the dress code, or come to school wearing a dress and saying that he's a girl. Now, that seems really extreme. However, if you sent your child to a school with a dress code, to me, that already kind of, you knew about the dress code before you sent your child there. The Tatum Independent School District held a special board meeting Monday to address some of the parents' accusations of, strangely enough, of all things, racial discrimination. Social media claims have made that Tatum's hair code is racially discriminatory, and the district administration suggests that a student identifies the opposite sex for purposes of limiting the applicability of that policy. The district vehemently denies these claims. The controversy began when Randy Woolley used her social media, of course, to share an experience about her son. So basically, she took him to school, and she was told that his hair had to be either cut or braided. So she's chosen to braid it. She could cut it, braid it, pin it up, or put my son in a dress and send him to school when prompted. My grandson must say he's a girl. They're also not allowed to have ponytails, ducktails, rat tails, nail buns, or puffballs. Okay, all of that can be done with straight hair. All of it. Okay, so I don't know how this is getting racial, but apparently it is. Someone else's son isn't allowed to wear dreadlocks to school. Now, I would actually combine that with ignorance about lice. That, I think, is what's going on there. People don't understand dreadlocks, and so they're being ignorant about it because they're concerned about children having lice and spreading lice. That's kind of what I think that's about. And that, I don't know, that's a separate story. This is not where the focus is at this particular point. But, 5-year-olds having dreadlocks, that's a pretty grown-up hairstyle for a 5-year-old, I will say. It's not easy to have dreads, especially ones that are maintained. It's incredibly painful. So basically, that's kind of the basic story there. But this is the kind of thing that I wouldn't be surprised we would hear more about. Because what I find very homophobic about this whole pushing gender fluidity or gender confusion or forcing the opposite gender upon a child is that you're asking them to basically name their sexuality, what they are sexually, and to commit to that at a very young age, an irreversible process. And what you're going to do, so if you find out at a very young age that someone is more feminine and you push them into femininity, then you're basically erasing the potential for an effeminate man. And it seems to me very anti-gay, very anti-lesbian. No, 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 you can't grow up to be a butchy woman. You have to decide now, before you even know how to count to 20. You have to decide now that you're going to be a man, because you're a manly girl. And there's no such thing as manly girls. There's only men and women, or this sort of neuter, this like neutral nothingness, the third, because they're beyond it. So I don't know. I see it seems very anti-gay to me, very anti-lesbian, very anti as you are, you know? I have a cousin who at a very young age, I would say age 4, possibly younger, had Barbies. That was his favorite toy, and his favorite singer as he grew up a little bit more, but not too much older than that, was Cher. And he is a grown homosexual man who dresses like a man, looks like a man, and dates a man who looks like a man and dresses like a man. And together they are men who are manly and they are in love. And that's totally cool. Now, if he was born now, if he was 4 years old right now and his favorite doll was Barbie and his favorite singer was Cher, what the heck do you think would happen if my aunt and my uncle didn't go ahead with whatever this state run decision is? What do you think? Because I'm pretty sure I know what would happen. And we wouldn't have the happy man that we have right now, who's living his life feeling content and in love and accepted for who he is, which is a manly man who grew up with more Barbie dolls than most people I know. And Cher could only be so lucky to have such a dedicated fan. So that's all I have to say about that. And once I find the article that I once came across, it has possibly since been scrubbed, which pretty much backs up a lot of what I'm saying. I was so thrilled to find it. I'm going to post that video next. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. Saturn's going direct again. It's going to be a heavy one. Take care of yourselves and love each other. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.